Hi, I'm Bri, and today you join me with the brand new version of the Royal Enfield Bullet 350. I've been riding this for probably about a month now, and spoiler alert, really enjoying it. So today you can come out and join me on the Kent countryside roads in this very beautiful spring weather that we've been having and test out what this Bullet can do on the roads. Hear it first?
Yeah.
The latest Bullet joins the other 350s in the Royal Enfield lineup. So we've got the Meteor and the Classic, both of which I rode a couple of summers ago now. There's a comparison video that I did for those up on the channel somewhere if you dig deep enough, and also the Hunter 350 as well. Oh, we seem to be pulling over.
Yeah, no, I was adjusting the camera and I hit the horn.
Oh, because you were indicating right. I was like, oh, we pulling over? But I think it might have just been a legacy.
Did I leave it on? What a loser.
Right. Goodbye, cyclists. Feel the mighty roar of that 349cc J Series Royal Enfield single cylinder engine. Oh. And I don't know if you can hear what I can hear, but it sounds very good to me. Ooh, nice surprise tight corner. Oh, there's that sound again as we pull away. Just loud enough to keep me happy, but not so loud that I'm getting deafened and I'm going to need earplugs too often. So I've also tested out the Hunter, which I have to say is probably the most different of the 350s in the Royal Enfield lineup. It's more on the modern side of modern classic for sure, tailored towards cities, I'd say, rather than being, you know, a more heritage style destined for the country back roads as this is. And the other big difference, I would say, this has got the 19-inch front wheel and the 18-inch rear, which I believe is the same as the Meteor and the Classic. Whereas one of the, ooh, a little skid on the gravel, one of the big selling points for me of the Hunter was the 17-inch on the front and rear. So it's got much smaller wheels, which gives it that extra agility for handling and cornering and makes it a truly superb city bike. And then so another difference with the Bullet, and this is before we get into the heritage, which trust me we will, is the weight. So I think this is 15 kilos heavier than the Hunter. This comes in at 195 kilograms, which for a 350, let's be honest, it's up there weight wise. Is that what you're looking for if you're looking for a very nimble, easy to manually handle kind of first bike or a first bigger bike? Potentially not. However, the thing that extra weight does give is a fantastic sense of being planted. It doesn't feel like it's, you know, sort of skittering around in the way that some 125s or other smaller engines and lower powered motorcycles might do. It really feels very planted and very stable, which I do love. So I think that extra weight is, for me, a big plus point.
Thank you to the Classic Competition Company for sponsoring this video production. The Classic Competition Company is a UK-based business that regularly raffles off rare and desirable classic motorcycles for people to win. Ticket sales into competitions are limited and draw dates are fixed. Single tickets are low cost, but you can buy multiple tickets so you can decide how many chances you'd like to win. Head over to their website and check them out today.
Let's talk a little bit about power as we approach the national speed limit sign and can pick up the pace. Oh no, roundabout. I lied, we cannot pick up the pace just yet. And 27 years later. Can we do an overtake? Oh, you can feel it there. We're just hitting the top of the power where we're running out of acceleration. I don't think I can even quite go for an overtake here. Have we got what it takes? No. No, we do not have what it takes. This is 20 horsepower, this bike, and it's got 5 gears, and you can certainly feel when you hit the top of a gear where it's not quite got any more to give. So if we go up now into top gear, have to back off a little bit so I can show you what flat out looks like. There we are, flat out in 5th. Obviously that's because I've dropped down at an awkward time and I'm not getting the most out of it here, that's for sure, because I don't quite want to go round the car in front. So when you're on a dual carriageway with this, will it sit at 70? Yes, it absolutely will. And if you're picking up and holding your speed, obviously wouldn't be testing it over 70 because that's the speed limit. It feels like it's got a tiny little bit more in, but I don't think you're likely to be hitting 80 unless you are pulling a rolly free and lying flat on the tank head first going down a hill. So yes, it will keep up on a motorway, on a dual carriageway, but you're going to be holding that throttle right back and you're going to start to feel the vibration through the bike, particularly in your hand. So it's probably not one for long motorway miles. Having said that, these kinds of roads, it is just lovely. You're not going to be doing masses of overtaking on this because unlike that, this doesn't quite have that level of acceleration. I've just spotted Alex's indicator, and so quick slam on of the brake, which you'll notice was very smooth. So these has got the Vibra calipers on, which is the little brother of the performance brand Brembo. So it's not going to quite have that bite that the Brembos have got, and my gosh, I do love a Brembo. However, the Royal Enfield brakes, these Vibra calipers have always been completely sufficient in my eyes, and they will absolutely stop the bike. Oh, ready to see the suspension shine? There's a bit of a bumpy road some parts of this one, and it does just highlight the fact that the suspension on these is pretty comfortable with NAF roads. It's not extremely hard. If anything, it's probably on the softer side. So that, as you change down gear, you can feel the surge of the engine braking, and it's certainly something actually, because of the lower power of these bikes being only 20 horsepower, they feel very controlled in roads like this and slightly naff weathers as well. They're not going to launch off and do anything crazy. Speaking of control, the torque on these I think is a big selling point of them actually. Same goes really for all of the those J series engine 350 single cylinders, is they are nice and torquey, which makes them a lot of fun to ride. Certainly a very characterful bike, which obviously we do come to expect with the single cylinders, and also from Royal Enfield in general. So I mentioned before that these have got the Bullets have got a very long history of evolution, and if you look at the lines and the design of this, you'll notice that it's incredibly similar to the Bullets of old, which is very special really to be part of such a long and special heritage of this motorcycle. So the Bullet, certainly an iconic design, And I have to say, I'm a big fan of the styling of this. The badge on the tank, the line work as well, very beautifully done, very simplistic and very traditional from Royal Enfield, which is something I just love with modern classics. So the reason I love them is because I love my classics, but sometimes you need something that is going to start and it's going to stop, which God love my classics, but they don't always do both or either of those things on any given day out. So having a modern classic that still has that reminiscent feel of the old bikes is very important to me, and I think that is definitely a box that this Bullet ticks. Feel the torque up the hill. Oh, there we go. Lovely, lovely stuff. Differences between the classic 350 and the Bullet 350. So, in my opinion, there are three main ones. One is about the heritage of the Bullet 350, which we've talked about, and the other two are with kind of the physical design. So I'd say the bars are higher on this one, so they're higher than on the classic 350 and also on the older Bullets. Woo, potholes, which I think make it nice and easy to truck around, like you can see there, and I actually really like them. Which way are we going? Left. The other key difference between this and the classic 350 is the seat. So this one has got the sort of curved upwards towards the pillion seat, raised pillion bench seat. It's a very big squishy seat, like you can see bouncing there. It's very nice and soft and comfortable, and I think for longer distances this would certainly be more comfortable. And I think a lot of that just comes down to a styling decision of whether you prefer this or the classic. The classic you can do either with the separate seat and pillion pad on the back, or just as a single seat. But I have to say, seat wise and actually bar wise, and then if you include the heritage of the Bullet as well, I think I'd have to pick this one. So, more classic styling, things that we can see on the bars. So on the grips we've got these kind of Coke bottle styled, I've heard people call them, like those. Tiny bit of play in the throttle grip, but that's not very much, and the power is nice and responsive when you flick it on anyway. No dramas with the fueling. Other things you can see, this area, very nice, very simple. So on the screen you've got a few things that you can flick between, and you've also got the speed in miles and kilometers. There is a neutral light, so you get a little green N if you flick it into neutral, but you don't have a gear indicator for any of the other gears. It's got 5, not difficult to feel which gear you're in, but it is nice to have obviously that green neutral light. You can see the simple handlebar lock on there as well, which is gratefully received for parking. Some other bits I like, metal mud guards. And I have taken this to some pretty muddy spots. Not today, you'll see it's nice and clean, which is, to be honest, a bit of a rarity for a bike that I'm on. But do like the mud guards being metal. Headlight, also very nice with the 2 little ones at the front. I know Lana was also a fan of those. Which reminds me, some other bits that Lana mentioned were about the overall sizing of the bike, which I've touched on a bit, but it's reminded me I was going to address the things she said about height. So Lana is a bit shorter than me. I think she's 5'4" and I'm 5'6", which isn't a massive height difference, but It's certainly noticeable in bike terms. So Lana was saying that the bike feels a little bit larger, and that it's probably better for someone who is a few inches taller than she is. And I have to say, at 5'6", this feels like a bit of a bigger bike. It doesn't feel like a little 350 or akin to any of the sort of 125s or 250s that I've ridden. But it also doesn't feel too big. I would say size-wise, this feels excellent for me at 5'6", with slightly longer arms and legs. What else do I really like? Toolkit. Love that this comes with an actual little toolkit. They're all little Royal Enfield badge tools, kept in one of the side compartments that you just can open with the key. It's all tucked in there with the battery, and it's got all of the little tools that you'd need, which, being a modern classic, hopefully it's not going to be very many. The tool that I always end up needing on a modern Enfield is for the mirrors, adjusting the mirrors, which is usually a 14-inch spanner, because, and this is perhaps my one gripe if I had to select one, so you have to pull up this little bit of rubber and then adjust the nut to get it tight, but it does then mean you've not got any manoeuvrability on the road, so you do need to get the mirrors set perfectly before you set off. You can't be wiggling them around, or they'll knock out of place and just go loose. It does also mean if you're at a petrol station or parked up and someone knocks it, you're gonna have to dig the spanner back out and reset it. So would be lovely to perhaps have a mirror that you could play with a bit more and adjust. But otherwise, I have very little negative things to say about this bike. I think it's got an excellent charm. I think it sounds great. The engine, albeit lower powered, is very torquey. The weight and handling of this makes the bike feel very stable, feel very in control riding it. I think the design is lovely, and I think continuing the Bullet heritage is a very special thing to be part of. So I have to say, actually, I've thoroughly been enjoying my time on the Royal Enfield Bullet 350, and I'm going to be pretty gutted to give this back to them, because I'm sure that they will want it back very soon. Unfortunately, I have just nearly missed the turning. Didn't even need the ABS. Let's go for a nice roar up the hill. Excellent. Final thing to show you, I suppose, and I don't know if you'll be able to see this, is what it does if you stand up. So where the pegs are a bit further forward, a bit more cruisy, if you stand up, you've really got to get your legs, and hopefully you can see this on the camera, up over the tank, which isn't too comfortable, but it is quite fun if you're going over some bumpier roads, just for that extra bit of control. And we are back where we started. So parked up, popped the bike on the centre stand, which is a huge benefit to have, as well as the side stand makes it much easier for chain maintenance and things like that. It gives us a chance to just have a look at the full bike in all of its glory. So as I mentioned on the ride, I'm a big fan of the design, and I do think it is very characterful and reminiscent of the Bullets of old, so it does make it feel nice and special. Would I secretly love to see a kickstart on this? Maybe, because I am a fan, but as it is, gorgeous. And the other thing that would potentially be nice would be a 500 version.
That's not to say that I think this is underpowered or anything like that. I have heard those words chucked around a lot when talking about the 350s, and the thing is this is a characterful single cylinder smaller powered bike. That's what they're designed for, and it is absolutely beautiful for that. You saw it sort of thrashing around the country back roads, and it is completely well powered for that. It's nice and torquey, and it means it's an awful lot of fun. So massive thumbs up from me for the Bullet 350. Please do let me know if you've tried out one of these. What did you think of it, and how do you think it compared to the other 350s in the lineup? And equally, as far as modern classics go, what should I be trying out next? Let me know in the comments, and thank you all for watching. See you soon.